Hi everyone, this is Vic back again on another live fragrance review. Today I'm going to review a legendary fragrance, Equipage by the House of Hermes of Paris, released in 1970. Is an amber fougere fragrance, and the perfumer behind was the master perfumer Guy Robert. Let's break down the notes. Top notes are Brazilian rosewood, nutmeg, also clary sage, aldehyde, and bergamot. Meat notes are carnation, pine tree, cinnamon, lily of the valley, also jasmine, and rose. Base notes are ockmos, vetiver, patchouli, tonka bean, musk, and amber. This fragrance has aromatic accords, spicy accords, woody accords, mossy accords, and floral accords. Equipage by Hermes was the first masculine fragrance by the House of Hermes, released in 1970, and that was my first review on YouTube. But I don't call it a review. That was just a very quick introducing to Equipage. I always wanted to make a more detailed review, a full review of Equipage. That's why today I decided to pull off this beautiful fragrance from my collection and talk about it. This is a masterpiece in the bottle. The version you are seeing on this live video is actually not the current version, is the previous version with the previous bottle shape, and also it's more close to the original version. But still the current version is great. But somehow, of course, has been reformulated over the years, also have been altered over the years due to new regulations imposed by IFRA. And you know all the story. So nowadays they cannot make the fragrances, the vintage fragrances, as great as they were. And the main reason is perhaps because of the new regulations, perhaps the materials are more expensive, so they always try to cut the budget. I don't know. It's a very complex situation. But somehow, let's focus on this beautiful fragrance. This is the first male fragrance by the House of Hermes, released in 1970. Is the amber fougere. It's a great fragrance. It's a real gentlemanly fragrance. Also, I detect leather, because it's not possible that Hermes make a fragrance without leather. Leather is very important because the House of Hermes is the most prestigious leather house in France, and one of the most expensive leather house in France. You know that the Hermes bags are very expensive, and they are well known all over the world, and they are also well known for their saddles, leather saddles, and all the accessories going on around the leather, and also around the horse riding. This fragrance is the perfection in the bottle. This is the masterpiece. This is a kind of fragrance you never come across twice in your life. It's on the same ballpark as Pour Monsieur by Chanel, or Abbey Rouge, or just a fabulous fragrance, or Patou pour Homme. It's a very, very, very woodsy, floral, leathery, spicy. The spices notes and accords are here. Cinnamon, cloves, all are playing a majestic part in this fragrance. And this is a kind of fragrance that today's perfumers cannot make it anymore. Guy Robert, he was a master perfumer. He also created Calèche for the House of Hermes. He created Monsieur de Rochas for the House of Rochas. He created Madame Rochas for the House of Rochas, and many, many other great fragrances. Those perfumers were true master perfumers. They had their own craftsmanship, which is not the case anymore. They were not helped by artificial intelligence. They were just working by their own nose, by their own collecting of raw materials, and that was the absolute craftsmanship of the French perfumers in the 60s, in the 70s, which is not the case anymore. Today's perfumers are working with artificial intelligence, and the fragrances are generic, they are mainstream, and they are not great as they were before. So some subscriber ask me how I take perfume. Very simple. First of all, I'm a vintage lover, and I always go first for the vintage fragrances, and I test them. I let them dry on my skin for 3 4 hours, and after that I decide, I make up my mind if I'm going to buy that fragrance or not. I never blind buy. I seldomly blind buy fragrances because I don't want to get disappointed, and I am not sponsored. I am not having any contract or any deal with no one. I always buy my perfumes and my fragrances from my own money, so I don't want to waste my money. I always spend my money on the things I love. And this is the advice I'm telling you to test, try to test twice even. If you really love, then pull the trigger. Now let's go back to this Equipage by Hermes. Equipage by Hermes is a true classy, pushy, and uplifting fragrance. This is not a fragrance you wear for casual events. This is not a fragrance you wear for going to Burger King, or this is not a fragrance you wear for playing a bowling. This is a fragrance you wear when you are dressed up, when you go to dinner, or where you go to a very fancy, very classy event. You go to opera, you go to see your friends in the very classy restaurants, and you have to dress up for that. You have to wear a tie, you have to wear a suit, you have to be in the right mood. This is not a fragrance you wear when you want to go to Burger King, or you want to spend the day with your kids, or you want to go to play a bowling, or you want to see your friends, or you want to play pool. No, this is a fragrance to be dressed up. This is a fragrance for outing, but you got to be well dressed to wear Equipage. This fragrance, it's a class in the bottle. This fragrance is not a generic. We are talking about a legend. We are talking about the first male fragrance from the house of Hermes. And they were not joking at that time. Unfortunately, the latest release by Hermes was very disappointing. H24 was the worst release by the house of Hermes. I'm very sad because they use lots of synthetic materials, lot of molecules, and really Christine Nagel, the new in-house perfumer, disappointed me. They betrayed the rules of Hermes. When I wear H24, I immediately feel I'm wearing a lemony hand freshener from KFC. But no, Hermes was not like that. Hermes, they release great fragrances for gentlemen since Equipage. They release Bellamy, a great leather. They release Rocobar, fabulous fragrance, or even Terre de Hermès. They were all great fragrances. They were all great gentlemanly fragrances, faithful to the rules established by Guy Robert. So I'm sad that the house of Hermes betrayed his own rules, and this is not the case with Equipage. Equipage is a gentlemanly fragrance. It's a class in the bottle. It's the excellence of the French perfumery. It's hardly been paired. I'm telling you, in my own collection, the only fragrance that come close to Equipage is Pour Monsieur by Chanel, and also Anateus by Chanel, and after that maybe Bellamy by Hermes, but none of them can pair Hermes, Equipage. This is a very unique fragrance. This is a one-of-a-kind fragrance. So if you never experience Equipage by Hermes and you are searching for classic legend, if you are searching for a class in the bottle, give it a try. Even the current version, okay, has been modified since the original version. but still it's great. Still it smells very faithful to the original version. Little bit toned down, little bit weaker, but nevertheless remain the same quality. So I advise you to give it a try to the current version of Equipage by Hermes. If you can find the older version, like mine, or previous to that, fragrances before 2005, then you are going to have a better quality of the juice. So this is my final take on Equipage by the house of Hermes. I had to do this video because my first review on Equipage, that was my first introducing video on YouTube. And after that, I said always I have to do a full review about Equipage by the house of Hermes. I'll be back soon on this channel. Stay tuned and talk to you very soon. Until then, stay safe and sound. Cheerio!